Yes guys, I'm back and I'm just going to be doing a recap of yesterday's live session that I did with the group in AO trading, because for some reason when I was trying to record it didn't really like what I was doing, so what I thought I'd do is a nice recap of what's going on in the market at the minute, and then we can, you know, just show you what I was showing the guys in AO trading yesterday. So yeah, let's get straight into it anyways. So yesterday in AO trading I started on BTC, and I was just saying to people, you know, I expect a reaction at these areas, you know, like we've had the reaction previously at the other areas. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to move these now to where the actual value areas are. Yesterday these were last week's value areas. Now today these are the value areas that I'm going to place in now. So we've got the point of control, we've got the value area high of last week right here, and then we've got the value area low of last week there. So what I was saying was, if we see a big rejection from this zone here today, we're not seeing it yet, you know, if we see a rejection from this zone here, which I expected a retest, which I pointed out, this is the line I pointed out to all the guys in AO trading yesterday, and I said to them I do expect BTC to bounce from here and come back to test this zone, which it has done. You know, no fluff, it's literally come back to test that zone. So I'll be watching this daily candle close today to see potentially where we're going to go for the rest of the week. So that's what I was looking at. That's what I pointed out yesterday to all the guys in AO trading. And you can clearly see we've come up and we've tested that zone. So yesterday, let me see if I can see where we were. When I was doing the live yesterday, BTC started the live at 2. BTC were around here. It came back up, had a little test of this zone here, and then rejected again. And today we've had a bounce off, and now we've started to trade above it. So if we get a massive rejection candle here, I do expect lower prices on BTC, because at the minute it's looking like it's tagged all this zone here, which I will mark out. I don't know why, but my PC has been lagging so much. I think it's time to invest in a new PC. So if you have a little look now where we are, BTC has tagged this zone again. So it won't surprise me if we come up and tag this point of control here, which is another zone on the daily, around here where we are now. You know, you could even make that zone a little bit smaller if you really wanted to. Put it on that candle there. We'll mark it out, and we're in an important zone at the minute. We're in a very important zone. So what I'm going to do with this one, I'm going to unlock that. I'm going to remove it for now, just because I want to see these zones that we're in at the minute. And then I've got another zone here that I'm pointing out, round here. This is another zone. Right here, which is last week's value area high. We've got the point of control here, which I expect a reaction from if we tag. And you know, like I say, we have got lower prices below us here. We've got another one here at 105, and then we've got another one here, which I'm going to remark out. While I'm at it, I might as well remark it. So I've got another one here And, you know, like I was saying to the guys, I try and make trading as simple as possible for myself. You know, you don't want 1 million indicators on your chart, because all it does, it just creates noise. And then you're like, well, it must go there, it must go there. It don't must want to do, no. It'll do what it wants to do. Price will move where it wants to move. So this is what I'm expecting in BTC. If we get a rejection today, I'm expecting lower prices here and here. I'll start to load up BTC around 100k and here, and then I'll wait for the blow off top that's probably going to occur around December time, November, December time. So yesterday I had a few requests. That was just my daily analysis on BTC. We'll see where we go on BTC. So yesterday I had these requests in chat, and I'm going to show you what I looked at. Obviously by your own flock, I pointed them out last week. So I got a request for IP, going down to the 30-minute chart. So yesterday I said in IP, you know, I'm expecting a reaction here. I said it yesterday about 3 o'clock. We got the reaction, you know, and that's a nice 5% move. And then you take the long from the zone I pointed out, another 6% move. You take another short from the zone I pointed out in this zone here, and that's another 6% move. So you've literally got one move, 2 moves, 3 moves, and you've made 5, 10, 2 6s, 12, 17%, times that by 10, 20. You know, that's a good percentage that you've made there. In the long-term play, I am expecting it to come back down and tag this zone here in IP. Because if you have a look at the volume here in IP, this is on the 30-minute chart, look at the volume, and all you've got to do is exactly the same as what I've just pointed out. I want around at these times, hour away. So if you just point out these zones here, marking out these zones, you know, when it gets to these zones, it slams down. When it gets to this zone, it goes up. When it gets to this zone, it slams down. When it gets to this zone, it goes up. This zone, down. Down, up, down, up, down. Pretty simple, and you've made one trade, 2 trades, 3 trades, 4 trades, 5 trades, 6 trades, 7 trades, 8 trades, 9 trades, 10 trades. 10 trades, and you've made 5% on each move on that. Pretty simple. So I marked these zones while I were on the chart with the guys yesterday, and I was just saying to them that, you know, we're potentially going to be getting rejections off all these zones. And if you look, we got rejections off these zones, which is pretty simple. So now what I'll do is new volume profile for today, 1 o'clock. Let's have a look at the volume profile. Now we're in a really tight range. But that's the Epoch 12, because that's going to continue for the rest of the week. We are now in a range. This is a big range that has been created in IP. I really need to get a new PC, guys. I need to stop being tight. So that there, 1 day, 17 hours, say around about 2 days, and you've made 9 trades, and you've made a lot of money. Pretty simple. Pretty simple. You know, I am expecting, if we lose this zone here, which I'm looking at, if we can lose that zone, i.e., you know, we come into this zone and we do get a big rejection back into the zone, and that's what I'm looking at in IP. A nice rejection in this zone. If not, we have a potential of, let me just get this zone here that I've got marked out. This zone here, if we can get up above that zone, this PC is absolutely winding me up. So from there, it comes in and fires, tags, and then we've got another opportunity to take that long in that zone there. But we need a candle, and to be honest with you, you don't want that sort of candle, because if that sort of candle occurs, you're not getting into that trade. You want a smallish candle, and then to reject into this zone again, and then go off, and that would be a 12% move. I.e. the same with this. We reject, we come back up, we test, we take the short in this zone. It's a 21% move. And that's how easy I'm making trading. It's pretty simple. Pretty simple. Right, so we're going to have a look at another coin called TA. I think I was looking at it on there. Yeah, we were looking on there. Look, these zones were marked out yesterday. Pretty simple trading. It's not, I'm not making it rocket science for people. Everybody wants to, make it difficult. It's not, trading's not difficult. It's hard because people make it hard. So I had all these zones marked out here. So if you have a look at these zones, where we actually are at the minute. So we came down towards this zone here. We never tagged the zone properly, but that candle there, we're telling you, I said around 9 and 10,500, we should see a reaction into here. And we got the reaction, and that was a 44% move. So when it pushed up, it came straight through that zone. It didn't even stop. It got to this zone. We'll take TP1, and then we'll fully close our trade when we're hitting here, which is the value, the point of control, and this is the value area low. So where we are at the minute is going to be a really tight range. There you go, really tight range. So where we've gone to at the minute, after ejecting that zone, so you got a 45% move up, and you've had a 20% move down. Pretty simple that. Times 10 on them, that's 450 and 200%. Pretty easy. Pretty easy, guys. So where we are now, we're rejecting. So it wouldn't surprise me if we come back towards this zone here, which will be, from the rejection, about an 11%, 12% move from where we are. And these were pointed out in the live. So you need to come and join us in AO on Discord. Come and join us. I'm not giving you any fluff like all these other channels. I'm not sugarcoating crap. I'm literally just showing you what I'm doing, what I'm looking at and what I'm doing. Sorry, I needed to have a drink of my tea. So PopCat yesterday, I said we had a big zone here in PopCat. Big daily zone. Yeah. Look what happened. This was pointed out yesterday. We're going to do something like this, which we did. It's not perfect, but we did exactly what I said we were going to do. Go sideways, reject that zone, and then where did we go? 5% down into the daily zone. There's a very important zone on the daily. So let me get the volume profile up. See, this is why I like to use the volume profiles, because when you mark your zones, these are going to give you some confidence to think, right, okay, I can see that now, when it wants to do it. Just put it there for 1 second, because it is a pain in the arse sometimes. To 12. Put it as a VPOC 13 because I don't want it to overlap onto the price action. So if we're having a look here in PopCat, where I put them volume profiles, zoom in and see what we did. So this is the value area low. We had some areas of interest right here. See how we came up, went sideways, and then we eventually rejected through this zone. So your trade there is the rejection through that zone. Your stops above them highs, and you're going to be targeting that zone there and a bit further down where it was that I pointed out, the next zone here, which we are starting to really reject at the minute. BTC is going up, London are having a little bit of fun with people. So, you know, you've caught a great move. You've caught a great move. You've took a lot of profit off here, and you're probably getting stopped out at break even. But that's a nearly 6% move right there. You know, and you've took some off it here or here. Pretty simple, guys. Pretty simple. And that's what I pointed out. You know, I wasn't going to touch it, but you had a potential to take a short in there and a long in here because it's a big daily zone. I had Kernel, what I pointed out. Kernel yesterday, Sunday, around this time, I said I wanted to see a big rejection in this zone here. We were just chopping around. Eventually, which probably wouldn't have been trading at 11 o'clock last night, we got the rejection. All the way down to the value area low. We got the rejection. And now we're starting to retrace again. Markets just don't go down in a straight line. This is what you need to realise. And that were another trade that I pointed out in the live session yesterday. Alu, another one, got pointed out yesterday in the live session. At 2 o'clock I started the live session. I said I expect a rejection from here. Look at that rejection. That's 18% move in Alu. So you got your rejection right here. You put your stops above there, and you want to be taking profit in this zone here. You know, it's a 1 to 4. You held it. It turned into around about a 1 to 6. So, you know, that's the recap of what I was showing the guys in the Discord. You know, you can make trading fairly easy, guys. You really can. Sol, same with Sol. I could see an area of interest here. I could see an area of interest here. So yesterday, at around 2 o'clock when I started the session, I said I expect Sol to come back into this zone. Little rejection, and then come back to this zone. What did we do? Came into the area, got a rejection, and you've got a 4% move. Pretty simple, guys. Pretty simple. You know, look, I pointed it out here, and then I push down. Or we get back up above this zone here, and then we're getting a push up. Easy trading. Easy trading. You know, people are making it too difficult. We've got too many indicators on the charts, and it's literally like, I don't know what's going on. I don't understand why people need a supply and demand, a support and resistance, a stochastic RSI, an RSI, a Williams oscillator. What's that other one that they call? I can't remember what the other one is, where you get the waves, Elliott waves. Genuinely, and I'm telling you from my experience, I used to be the same. I used to be the guy that'd have all these indicators on his chart and thinking, well, you know, this indicator's saying that and that indicator's saying that, so that must do that and this must do this. And then it literally, genuinely, it blagged my head. My head were pounding because I didn't know what I were doing. I didn't know what were going on. So I was like, yeah, well, if that's doing that, that must do that. And then when it doesn't do it, you think, oh shit, it's not doing it. So it's a bit, you know, you really need to start thinking about what you're doing on your charts and where you're putting this and where you're putting that. You don't need it all. You genuinely don't need it all. And I'm not being a dick about it. I said it yesterday, you know, use your trend lines, use this, use that. But you know what? I use pretty simple stuff, you know, and I make a decent amount of money without using 6 million indicators. So now what I'm doing is, as you can see, I'm just going to mark out these value areas. So these are the value areas that I can see at the minute. You know, we've got last week's value area high, point of control where we're at the minute, and then we've got the value area low. So Sol, I'm still expecting a move down. At some point we are going to move down. Markets just don't go up, guys. Remember that markets do not just keep going up. They have to correct at some point. You know, on this here, you know, a lot of people, that there, isn't that a bear flag or whatever they want to call it? But everybody's still like, oh, we're going higher, we're going higher, we're going higher. I don't know. I don't know. All I'm doing is I'm trading probabilities at certain areas of interest to help me make money. That's it. That's all I'm doing. You know, I really don't give a shit what these other channels are saying, because they're all full of crap. And that's literally, in my opinion, they are all full of shit. And you need to realise that they are all full of shit. And all they're doing is shilling coins on you. So, but that is basically what I was doing yesterday. I was showing people on the live event what I'm looking at and how I'm looking at it. So I've got areas of interest. I've got zones where we're going to have stop losses, where we're going to have limit orders and things like that. And that's all I'm doing. I'm just showing people how easy trading is. So I'm going to post this on my YouTube now, and it's going to be posted in the Discord as well. So I'm going to get off. I've got a lot to do today. So I hope you enjoyed that one. Come and join us in AO Trading. I've got a load of links below. You know, the Buy Me a Coffee links, Discord link for AO Trading, little things like that. I've got Baccarat Indicators link. You know, leave a comment. Let me know what you think. Don't forget to like and subscribe as well, guys. And I will catch you in the next one. Happy trading.